sound it out. Sound it out is a great method sometimes. And I'm going to help you figure out when is it a good strategy to say sound it out to your child and when is it not the best strategy. Let's say you know for a fact that your child knows their basic letters, okay? Your teacher's been told, you've seen them, they know their basic letters. If they come up to you and they see the word cat and you're like, I know you know these sounds, you can say sound it out. Absolutely. If your child has been directly taught the skills in a word, you can absolutely say sound it out. If you know they've worked on that word before, if you can be confident that they just need more repetition and more practice, then you absolutely say sound it out. We want your child to do as much of the heavy lifting as possible. Kind of like if you go to the gym, like you can't have your trainer lifting the weights for you and expect your muscles to get bigger, right? So if you're working with the trainer, your child does have to do as much of the heavy lifting. It's not always fun. They might be like, oh, just tell me. Nope, go ahead. You can say sound it out. What we're talking about right now is when not to say sound it out, because let's say your child comes up to you. I'm going to erase this. Gives us some room here. Let's say your child comes up to you and they say, Mom, Dad, teacher, what's this word? And this is a word that's near and dear to my heart because this is the exact word that I know I said sounded out to a student and I shouldn't have. And I look back and go, man, I didn't handle that the best way. Know better, do better. I know better and I do better. Now, if your child comes up and you go, you know what? I don't think they know this part. I don't know if they know that UR spells I don't know if they know this syllable. This is a syllable type called consonant LE, where the pull is a full syllable. They haven't really been taught that yet. So they only really have been taught that the P spells the P. It's the only part I can hold them responsible for. Sound it out is not going to work for this word if your child has not learned these skills yet. Now, if you have a second, third grader and you know they've been taught this, you absolutely can say sound it out. You absolutely can. But if you have a kindergartner, first grader, and they have not learned this yet, it's okay to help them. And this is our three-step process and method that you can use every single time when you're like, I don't think they know this word. So here we go. The step 1 is you are going to tell them the word. Yep. You're going to start by telling them the word. If they don't know all the skills yet, if you're like, I'm not sure, you're going to say, oh, this is the word purple. Now, this is where a lot of parents just stop and a lot of teachers just stop. This is the word purple. Okay, bye. But we're not explaining to them why it's the word purple. Okay. We need to explain the why behind the word to help them become more independent. So this is where we're going to go a level deeper. Step 2 is you're going to do sounds. Okay. So you start by telling them the word. Now you think through with them. What are the sounds we hear in the word purple? P, p, excellent. That's it. And number 3 for a 3-step method here is going to be spelling. Now you go in and you connect the sound to the spelling. Okay, we heard p. Oh, here we go. That's how we spell p. That's how we spell p. Excuse me. P. I'm getting all confused. P. Here are the sounds we hear in purple. This is the word purple. Now, if you do these 3 things, you've now given them exposure to skills that they haven't been taught yet, but when they get there, now they have a little practice with it. They built a little bit of the pathways they need. It's not going to be fully solid. We still can't hold them fully responsible until they've been directly taught, but they've had some practice. And now they might surprise you. Now the next time they get to purple, they might go, oh, I've seen this before. I remember this is the and you might start seeing them become a little more independent. We're not going to hold them completely responsible until they've been directly taught, but they've gotten this exposure. You can take it a layer deeper. Let's say your child's really interested and you're feeling like you got a lot of energy. If you do these 3 things, you're awesome. You can now send them on their merry way. Tell, sound, spelling. If you are ready to take it a layer deeper, the 4th one would be to connect. Connect it to other words. So this is kind of like the bonus step that you're not going to do every time because it does get a little bit bogged down. It gets kind of a long process. You want this to take 5-10 seconds total. 5-10 seconds. We don't want to burn them out. But if you're like, no, this is when I really kind of want to give them more exposure, you can start to connect it. You can pick one of these. Let's say, oh, that is actually really normal. There's tons of other words that have that. Like you could have the word burn also has that See, it's pretty normal. Or the word turnip. Or turn, I guess, would be more normal. You can start connecting it to other words that share that same pattern and building more in their schema, up in their brain. I think of it like a big giant spider web. And every single time we expose our children and practice them, practice a new skill, we're adding another little strand into that web. We're trying to make a big giant web that's full of connections for every single one of these skills. So this is just kind of adding an extra couple layers. So that's the optional one. These three right here, though, these green ones, that's what you do. Instead of just telling them the word and sending them on their merry way, take those 2 extra steps where you think through the sounds, you connect the sounds to the spelling of that word, and then you've given them more of that why behind the words. It's going to help it be so much more sticky. Now, here's what you still need, though. 1, you still need to know what your child has been directly taught or not. This is why it is imperative. And I'm speaking to parents right now. Teachers, hopefully you know. Hopefully you have diagnostic assessments. You hopefully have the hard data for each and every single one of your students. If you don't, you need to find a diagnostic assessment. It's imperative. If you are a K1, 2, 3 teacher, for sure, but even older teachers, if you have children that are struggling, you need to know the specifics of what you can and cannot hold your students responsible for. Parents, it's a good and a bad, because you can really focus in on what your child needs, but you also need to know the specifics. You need to know, does my child know the UR spells Do they know the consonant LE syllables? You might be sitting there thinking, I don't know these things. How am I supposed to know if my child knows it? I didn't know R controlled vowels. I didn't know consonant LE. I don't know these things. And I don't want to. I just want to read my stories and move on. I so get it. This is exactly why Laura, who is the other half of Developing Readers, and myself have created our Miss Buddy Reads Kit, because we do all this teaching for you, and you can be 100% sure of what your child does and does not know, because we give you the assessment. We hand you the diagnostic assessment. We teach your child all these skills directly. You don't need to know how to teach UR spells PLE is the pull. You don't need to know how to teach that because you're not a reading expert. We do that for you inside the Miss Buddy Reads Kit. We teach them, but you get to be a part of the journey. So you will be confident as your child's reading a book at night or reading a decodable story. You're going to know what to hold your child responsible for or not with 100% certainty. That is the clarity and the confidence that we are giving you inside of the Miss Buddy Reads Kit. And today, can I just show this? Because you can get in for less than $1 a day. It is less than $1 a day to access the assessment, access the learning, the resources, the tools that you need to get your child on track with reading. And I do all the teaching for you. Laura walks beside you the whole way, so you get the support as well. And we get kids reading. Thousands of kids in the past 2 years have learned to read with the Miss Buddy Reads Kit. And we would love for your family, if you're looking for more support, and if you don't want to be held responsible for everything, you want someone walking the journey with you, we are here for you. I'm going to link some more information down in the description for you to check out. But hey, if you walk away, even if you're like, that's not the right fit, that's totally cool. Remember these 3 steps. Tell. Oh, it's going to look like it erases it. Sounds, spelling. If you can do those, you're going to be helping build more independent readers, more independent spellers, more confident kids. So thank you so much for joining me. Hope this was helpful, and I will catch you in the next one.